The tragic shooting of Ralph Yarl by Andrew Lester has caused a ripple effect across the nation, highlighting the dangerous consequences of mistaken identity and the importance of addressing racial biases. While many have called for justice for Yarl, including black celebrities, activists, and politicians, one of Lester's own grandsons is now speaking out, calling for accountability and blaming the Kansas City Police Department for failing to act sooner. Klint Ludwig, a former public safety officer who grew up knowing his grandfather as a great man, now believes that Lester has been overtaken by conspiracy theories and right-wing news outlets, leading to a state of fear and paranoia. Ludwig blames this for his grandfather's actions on the night of April 13 when Yarl mistakenly rang the doorbell of Lester's home. Ludwig states that his grandfather's actions were his responsibility, but falling prey to misinformation only worsened his mental state. Lester, 84, claimed that he fired his weapon in self-defense when he saw a black male pulling on his exterior storm door handle, thinking his home was being broken into. However, Yarl, an honors student at Staley High School, claimed that he was waiting after ringing the doorbell when Lester opened the door and shot him in the head and then in the arm. Yarl's injuries included a cracked skull, loss of brain tissue, and scarring. While Lester pleaded not guilty to felony counts of assault in the first degree and armed criminal action, he could face a maximum sentence of life in prison. The racial component of the case is clear, and the fact that Lester was initially released within 2 hours of being questioned caused widespread outrage. Clay County prosecuting attorney Zachary Thompson emphasized that the charging documents did not specify whether the shooting was racially motivated, but the fact that Yarl was a black teenager who was shot by a white homeowner raises questions of bias and racism. In the wake of this tragedy, it is clear that more needs to be done to address the root causes of racial bias and misinformation that can lead to dangerous consequences. While Lester's family members have stated that they do not believe he is racist and that he shot Yarl only because he thought his home was being broken into, the fact remains that Yarl's life was put in danger due to a mistake that could have happened to anyone. It is up to us as a society to hold individuals accountable for their actions and work towards a more just and equitable future for all. The tragic shooting of Ralph Yarl has sparked a nationwide conversation about race, gun violence, and the responsibility of law enforcement to protect the public. While many have rallied behind Yarl and his family, others have questioned the motives of the shooter and the police department that failed to act quickly enough to bring him to justice. Subscribe for more content like this. One of the most striking voices to emerge in this debate is that of Klint Ludwig, a former public safety officer and the grandson of Andrew Lester, the man who shot Yarl. Ludwig has come forward to denounce his grandfather's actions and to call for justice for Yarl, even as he acknowledges the pain of watching a loved one be held accountable for such a terrible mistake. Ludwig's words carry a powerful message about the dangers of falling prey to misinformation and conspiracy theories, particularly in a time when the 24-hour news cycle can be overwhelming and divisive. He has called on his grandfather and others like him to take responsibility for their actions and to reject fear and paranoia as a way of life. At the same time, Ludwig has shown great compassion for Yarl and his family, acknowledging the injustice of a young man being shot simply for ringing the wrong doorbell. He has emphasized the importance of holding his grandfather accountable for his actions, regardless of their relationship, and has spoken out in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. The shooting of Ralph Yarl has been a tragic reminder of the ways in which racism and gun violence continue to impact our society, but it has also shown the power of individual voices to speak out against injustice and demand change. As the case moves forward, it is clear that Klint Ludwig will continue to play an important role in this ongoing conversation, challenging his grandfather and others to confront the harm that can be caused by hate, fear, and misinformation. The tragic incident that occurred on the night of April 13 has raised several questions about the state of race relations in America. The shooting of Ralph Yarl, an innocent black teenager who made a simple mistake of going to the wrong house, has brought attention to other similar incidents in recent times. It highlights the need for a society that values human life and is willing to take accountability for its actions. The fact that Andrew Lester, the shooter, had become consumed with watching conservative news outlets and following conspiracy theories built on misinformation is a stark reminder of the dangerous effects of misinformation and fake news. In recent years, There has been an increase in the spread of misinformation on social media and conservative news outlets that has fueled racial tensions and led to tragic incidents such as this. Klint Ludwig, the grandson of Andrew Lester, has spoken out against his grandfather's actions and has called for justice for Ralph Yarl. He has also criticized the Kansas City Police Department for failing to act on the day of the incident and has expressed his gratitude that the backlash to their inaction has led to charges being brought against his grandfather. The shooting of Ralph Yarl is a tragedy that has affected not just his family but also the wider community. It is a stark reminder of the importance of valuing human life and treating each other with respect and dignity. It highlights the need for us to come together as a society to address the underlying issues of racial tensions and work towards building a better future for all. As the trial of Andrew Lester continues, it is important to remember that justice must be served, not just for Ralph Yarl and his family, but for all those who have been victims of racial violence and injustice. We must work towards creating a society that is based on principles of equality, justice, and respect for all, regardless of race or ethnicity. In conclusion, the shooting of Ralph Yarl is a tragic incident that has highlighted the need for a society that values human life and is willing to take accountability for its actions. It is a stark reminder of the dangers of misinformation and the need to combat racism and racial tensions in our communities. As we continue to seek justice for Ralph Yarl, let us also work towards building a society that is based on principles of equality, justice, and respect for all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for authenticity.